derp derpity derp 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 derp.
Oh yeah. I just did all that in fast forward, didn't I? Right. Let's start again. Honestly, doofus. Absolute doofus.
Derp.
Hang on, that's the same as that. Right. At least I noticed then and didn't carry on to the end. That would have been annoying. Mica powders, whether they be Cosmic Shimmer, Perfect Pearls or makeup, they all seem to look the same when you use them like this. These are what I've got, are what I've found all over the place for different things that I've been using them for over years, even like eye makeup. That were my eye makeup once upon a time. Right, I did a swatch of each colour. I loaded the brush, went that way, I loaded the brush, went that way, and carried on doing that. So I think these, to the best of my ability, I've got the same amount across each line. Then I lifted them using blue and yellow, and as you can see, there is a vast difference in the colour, the outcome of the colour, from turquoise to just plain shiny, basically. This one is actually bright pink, but it looks, I'd say, apricot gold. There is a big difference in colour there. Just for instance, number 3, this is the one that looks turquoise to not very much, this one. Number 26 is this one. And number 4 is this one. There we go. So, I mean, them two look pretty similar. 3 and 4 look pretty similar, but on there, they don't. And I did this because I was disappointed in the blend that I did on the other one. It wasn't as I'd planned. There was a bit of a harsh mark where I didn't want a harsh mark, so that's why I've done this, so I can, if I'm going to pull on a dark background or a light background, I can tell what colour it's going to look like once it's been pulled up. Right, die cuts, make them out of really thin paper, the stuff that you get in a block for jotting down notes, the really cheap, nasty, thin stuff. It sticks down better than hard card, stiff paper. If you caught it, it'd ping off. So, you're building this from the front to the back. When you do a normal painting, you put your background in, and then your foreground, and then your focal point. This, you put in, as such, your focal point, and you're working your way backwards. So, your first layer needs to stand out and not be too big, not cover too much. It needs to be smaller, getting progressively bigger. Else you'll cover up and you won't have any space to do any other fancy stuff because you're not putting on top. You're starting on top and working towards the back. I hope you get that. I think I'm going to pull it with a yellow or a light green. I don't know, it depends how it goes. I've put black dots down using a very old cocktail thingamajigs there, with black craft paint that dries matte. These paints that you put down at the beginning could do with being a solid colour. I find, well, they are obviously transparent. These ones are a bit transparent. These are good for pulling up because when you get hold of the dried paint, it's rubbery, it doesn't crack, and that's what you need for pulling up. That's the best paint for pulling up if you want to pull it up good. These paints are very brittle, they crack. Well, that one doesn't rate much, but if you've messed with paints, I'm sure you know what I mean. Some of them dry like chalky, brittly, and some are stretchy. So you want to pull up with a stretchy one for definite, if you can. I mean, I've pulled up with chalky craft paint, but it's much better with a rubbery one, shall we say. This is, I don't even know if I'm repeating myself now because I've just been through all this once and fast forward. This is out of Scotch Pancakes. It's greaseproofy card, like them palette things that people pay for money for. I get Scotch Pancakes, I love them, so might as well use it. Right, so I'm just putting a little bit of paint on it. I know you can't see that, sorry. This is the lid off a toothpaste tube. Don't forget to leave room for other stuff, especially if you're doing something stupidly small. I like small things. That'll do. I'm sorry, but I will be wiping my brush off on pieces of paper. If that makes it into a longer video, I'm sorry, but I'm not wasting paint. And it means if I get all the paint out my brush water stays cleaner. Right, make that bit of paint a bit different. I don't know if this colour will mix with it or not. Let's try it. use the other side of the because this is like an inside out cog, if you will. I'll have to load a bit of paint on it because these marks have to show up. Don't know where that come from. Well, I hope everybody's alright. I'm getting lots of arting done. Oh, I wish I had more time. I don't know what happens to it. A little bit there. Yeah, that'll do. It leaves quite a nice pattern, does this, when it's done right. But I love these clean-up papers that I make by doing stuff like this and wiping my brush off. I absolutely adore some of them. I don't want to use them. I was thinking about making a little book and just putting, I don't know, a cute little stamp on or something on each page, then it doesn't exactly cover them up, or a little butterfly. I know some people haven't got the patience to even do this, or the inclination, or even the patience to watch somebody do this. I know I'll probably get complaints, but my paint, my channel, my video. Here's one that I did, and it's full of mica, and it doesn't really do it justice on the camera because it's got some of them colours in that cameras don't like, but that is like mother of pearl. It's so pretty. This line here isn't as harsh as it looks on camera, but there's like things that should make mud and they haven't. I just really like that piece. Are you dry yet? This is one of the problems with doing it real time. If I keep it in pause, it means Mick's got an awful lot of editing to do. So I should really have a story to tell you, shouldn't I? My dad was good at, well, still is good at stories. Way up, molting. Right, what marks do I want to make? I think I might carry on with round. Putting that down is going to smudge that wet. And that's going to take up too much room at the moment. But I can put that, it's a star. That's what I was saying about you building from the front of the picture back. If I get a dark colour on that now and go over this circle, you think, no, I've covered it up, but I haven't. I've backed it. So you've got to get your head thinking upside down. Right, so I need something that's not going to smudge. What if I really carefully... Yeah. Actually, I know this won't stand out too much, but it will bounce off the yellow. Yeah, it'll bounce off the yellow, and because the mica that we put in there, it'll make it not be the only mica on there as such. So just a few little dots of that. There we go. Pop rubber ball. Just think as if I'm doing two pieces of art at the same time. I'll have to ask my dad for some of his old stories. Although I could tell you, we used to take in birds. Basically grew up in a bird hospital, which was brilliant. And we get this phone call one, I think it was a Sunday, I think, and it was, I don't know, she had a title, Lady somebody or other, I'm not right sure, but she rang me dad, and she basically said the commoners had found a swan wandering around the village, and she had a very, very upper crust accent, and we didn't get paid for doing it. It was totally voluntary. We didn't really get any help at all. If we had something in with a broken wing or something that, you know, needed a cast or whatever, then the vets, local vets, would help us out, because we took the birds and rehabilitated them to go back into the wild. And anyway, she rings up and she's, the commoners have found this swan, so we took it off them and we've got it in the garden. And Giles is looking after it or something, I don't know, she was very wah wah wah. And we go around there to pick it up, and the garden had a fountain, a very posh, big fountain-y, pondy thing, big pond with a fountain in the centre, and it had got in to the pond, the ornamental pond, not like a duck pond or anything, and it had eaten all the ladies' koi carp. She'd just stocked it with little koi carp, and it had ate. This is back in probably early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. It had eaten a lot of money's worth. It was an awful lot of money's worth of koi carp. And we sort of laughed because she were ordering my father around like a serf, and the way that she spoke about the villagers, and we just thought, and she weren't too happy apparently that this swan that she'd rescued had eaten all her koi carp. It was probably not funny for her. We found it a little bit funny. Oh, cracker. Oh, 25 minutes. That's not as bad as I thought it were. I thought it were a bit longer than that. So yeah, if you get an injured swan, don't let it get to your koi carp. There's a lesson for you. stuff we've done for birds. Sorry, it's all going around in my head now thinking about it. There's a river near us, and in winter it freezes over. And there's a bridge, and we got called out for another swan. That's why that brought this up. Yeah, it's called out for this other swan. It was trailing a wing, so it had obviously got a broken wing. And it was on the river, and what happens is they can freeze to the river, so you really need to get them off. If they're injured, you need to get them off and sort it out. At night, they stay still too long and they can freeze. You know, if you find a bit of water that's loose, or there's a bit of water there, they can freeze into it, which is then not good trying to get them out. So my dad had gone down to the river. I think my mum were out, and my mum came back, and she reads note and goes down to help him. And my dad, the bridge is here, and the river goes under, and it's like a double bridge underneath. And my mum goes, looks over, sees my dad's footprints going out onto the ice and across and under the bridge. And my dad can't swim, and he's shinning out across ice. Mental. Absolutely mental. Saying that, I can't fly, but I once went running across a factory roof trying to get a goose that were in desperate trouble. It was a derelict factory roof that I went running across. Not rating our family at all. Bit bonkers when it comes to animals that need help. But if they need help, they need help. One of my first memories of birds was my mum and dad talking to somebody late on in the day. Well, it felt late to me, but I was tiny. I think my mum said, oh, either 3 or 4. And they told me not to open that box while they were chatting to these people. Me being me, I opened the box. And my mum and dad hadn't noticed. And apparently I pulled my hand out, half giggling, half crying, with a baby kestrel swallowing each one of my fingers, dangling off my fingers. As soon as baby birds see someone coming, they think it's the mum bringing food in, so they'll basically swallow anything that gets pushed in the face. It's funny. Nice memory to have. Quite liking that. Right, Mick and me decided to speed this bit up because it was just boring. I was just putting more layers on and whittling on about clean up papers and how pretty they can be. And are you yawning at me? You're rude. And saying that I wish the internet connection at my place was good enough to stream, but it's not, sadly. It's too expensive just to get it for that, because I wouldn't use the internet for TV or anything, so hopefully one day. Right. I forgot to say, when you put that layer that I've just put down, the blocking out layer, so when you pull these off, there'll be blank bits, hopefully. When you put that on, don't squirt the paint onto, and then, because you could end up pushing the paint underneath, do it somewhere else. Get your brayer full and then brayer it over carefully. If you go from the centre of your die cut outwards rather than in and risk pushing it underneath, I know you're still hitting the edges, but it seems to go better. And do it slowly, but not too slowly, but slowly enough that if you see it coming up with it, you can gently hold the rest of it down as you carry on. And I'm not sure if I said in the beginning or whatnot, but you know, in the one that I started to record, but it went fast forward, these are homemade baby brayers. They're brilliant for inking up stamps, baby jelly plates, big jelly plates if you're doing fancy stuff on them and you only want, you know, thin lines of stuff. Brayering on pages, they are really, really handy, and I have a video on how to make them. It's something that I invented, so I'll put a link in somewhere. It'll either be under the video, in the video somewhere, or if you hover top right hand corner, I think it is, on your screen, you know, you can add it to your favourites, watch later or something. I think it comes up there. But anyway, there will be a link to it. Try to make them, because they really are handy, very handy for doing all sorts. Right, when you take these off, it's best if you use a paint, because you need to let it dry. So it's best if you use a paint that's chalky for this layer, because if it's not chalky, then you could end up ripping other big lumps of paint out. And what I do is I just push down on them, and it breaks. If the paint's thick, it just breaks it. And then pull up slowly, and if you see any that's coming up that shouldn't come up, lay it back down again and push again. Can't tell which way that bit's meant to go. Oh, there, like that. Probably not the best one to use for this. Something like on the other little round ones that I did are probably better. It's probably a little bit too intricate, is this, but you live and learn, you experiment, that's what it's all about. there's a sort of pattern there. There's a bit come up that shouldn't have come up. I wonder if I can get that to go back down. It might stay there, it might not. I think I might have left this a bit too long. I went down and made myself a brew. It'll do. There's some bare bits there. I think that bit needs to come out. There's some bare bits there, so you'll get the idea. What colour, what colour, what colour? Could do these with these in a better thing. I don't like it when they tip over to the side because they end up leaking a bit. Where the heck are they? Oh right. 27, 29, 28. That means we'll have two of them. Dang it, I don't know. $26. That's 27. 29. 28. 26. I should have done this on the bigger one. But I'm part way through something on that one. if you're going to do fine detail, don't put so much on your brush. Don't let clumps be on your brush, because it acts as a sort of static and you approach it and then they ping off in place. It's like, yeah, it's static. It pings off into places that you might not necessarily want it. If that does happen, you can lift it up with sellotape that's not sellotape, masking tape, very gentle masking tape. What I do is I go down the side of the tub and sort of tickle it, if you will, on the side. Is that hair? Is that a hair and is it stuck in paint? I'm quite I'm sorry. You'll have to put up with quietness, because there's no way Mick's going to sit all the way through this trying to find quiet spots and put music in. Unless I can remember where they are and ask him to. Trying to keep track of what you're saying and doing this is not easy. Not, you know. Even if you don't make videos, try it sometime. Especially when nobody's talking back to you, to keep the conversation going. Is this usual? Does anybody know for perfect pearls? Because I got this second hand and it's like solid in places, if you will. You can break it up back into powder, but it's like somebody's been dipping a wet brush in it and then sealed it up. I've done that one, have I? I don't think this one's going to be a very pretty one. Wally. Sorry, quiet again. Right. I hope I weren't making funny noises then. Grunting or something. A friend who I grew up with was deaf, and when she was concentrating, she used to make funny squeaking noises. They were ever so sweet. Okay. Right. What I think I'm going to do, I'll keep them out, then we know what colours I've used. Instead of backing this in yellow, I'm thinking about a layer of that and then lifting it with red. As I say, you've got to experiment. And again, don't put a big blob of paint, and then I just think it'll lift it. So I like this side of it. How do I pull it and keep this side of it? Oh, I really like that colour. So I won't go over and over and over and over it. I really like that. I mean, I really like that. That's yummy. Right. Oh, don't you dare. Come back. Right, it's blurry. I'll let this dry. And all the way to do is turn camera on and off again. Okay, I've put another layer on and it's dry. And I really, really like that. I love them colours. So yeah, it's all sealed down now. So, I was going to do it with red, but I'm going to do it with this colour that my camera hates for some reason. Permanent rose. If you've got it, you know what colour it is. It actually looks a bit more like that than that. That is so depressing looking on camera. Yeah, because it's all sealed down, you can just blob it on however you want now. Just, oh, that fruit flies back. I have a pet fruit fly, and it loves acrylic paint and Mod Podge, especially Mod Podge. I think I need a bit more. So, nice layer. Pop it on. Just make sure it's all in contact with it. You don't need to squish the billy out of it at the moment. What this does, if you think of this layer of paint as glue rather than paint, it glues all the layers of paint that are already on your gel plate and glues them to your paper. If you squish it too hard right at the beginning, you could end up just squishing all the paint out and not having a good seal. So just make sure there's no air bubbles and it's in contact, and keep feeling the back of it. Basically you need it, if you want to pull it and have it all come up, it needs to be dry. It won't hurt your gel plate. The gel plate is designed to accept paint and then release it. And the paint would rather stick to something porous, absorbent, like your paper, than it would to the jelly plate. That's why this works, because all them layers, you can leave them to dry overnight. You can leave it like this to dry overnight. Oh, my camera's at it again. You can leave it like this to dry overnight. It won't hurt your plate. It's just like having one of them polythene sheets over it. It won't hurt it. If you go trying to take it up, you're either going to rip the paint skin as such, or rip your paper. So you'll end up with not a complete print or a ripped piece of paper. So what you need to do is let it dry. Sorry, I can't really do anything about it. That's a bit closer than you. Do you see fruit fly then? No. Let it dry, and then once it's dry, massage it. Right, quick before my camera buggers up again. What you need to do is let it dry, then massage it. The paint will stick to the most amenable for it to stick to, which is your paper. It's like having dried paint on your hand and you doing this, because your skin's giving and moving and the paint really doesn't. It's going to come off your skin. Well, that's basically what you're doing here. Massage it with your knuckles, and you've got a rigid-ish piece of paper that's stuck to your paint and a very movable surface underneath, and you manipulate it and it will break away suction wise. It'll break the suction seal off the jelly plate and bring it off. And even if the worst happens and by some weirdo mishap it rips and you can't get it off, just put your jelly plate in water and let it soak. What I do with this little one is I lift it up and I go around the edge and just make sure there were the black dots that I put down at the beginning. So it's working from the top to the back. Right, I hope that's helped the people who requested this real time. I hope you don't mind my stories. If you enjoyed them, I've probably got more to do with rescue birds and things, etc. I'm gonna try and sort a mic out. I know that I talk very quietly. I'm sorry about it, but you know, it's life. If we can get a mic sorted out, that would be better for doing these real-time ones. There's a couple more ways how to do these, and that'll be coming up in another video, and they won't be as long. It won't be as long as this one, hopefully. And also somebody asked me a long time ago what I do with these little oval prints. Well, that's in the video coming up too. That's why there's no pictures of this properly on, you know, proper real photography pictures. They're just screen grabs. Alright, thanks. Give us a thumbs up. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Have a look at what I do. And we sorted out a load of me lists, playlists of different categories of stuff. So have a look in them, see if there's, you know, out to interest you. Thank you again. Hope you're all well. Bye.